And I'm Raisha Sehgal. On the show today, US President Joe Biden spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to discuss the ongoing negotiations for a ceasefire and hostage release deal. The discussions were based on the proposal laid out by Biden last year. Meanwhile, Hamas has insisted on a full Israeli troop withdrawal from the entire Gaza Strip. We'll get you the latest on that on the show today.
Also on World DNA, preparations are in full swing in Prayagraj in India's Uttar Pradesh state as the city is all set to host the world's biggest religious event from today. The event is held once in every 12 years. However, the Mahakumbh Mela this year is remarkably special due to a rare celestial alignment occurring only once in 144 years. We'll bring you a ground report on that event as well as it starts today. This and a lot more right here on World DNA. Let's start with the headlines.
World's biggest religious gathering, Mahakumbh 2025, officially begins in India's Prayagraj. Devotees throng to the Triveni Sangam for the sacred bath. The Kumbh Mela set to witness 400 million people over the next 6 weeks.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he is ready to return the captured North Korean soldiers to North Korea's Kim Jong-un in exchange for the return of Ukrainian prisoners of war from Russia.
Croatia's President Zoran Milanovic re-elected in a landslide, defeating his conservative rival in Sunday's runoff.
Death toll from massive wildfires that have ravaged Los Angeles rises to 24 as officials warn of incoming dangerous winds that could whip the blazes up further.
Barcelona humble rivals Real Madrid for the second time this season. The Catalan Giants come from behind to register a 5-2 victory and lift the Spanish Super Cup in Saudi Arabia.
Starting with updates from the US, wildfires continue to ravage Los Angeles for the 6th consecutive day.
The death toll has now risen to 24, with officials warning of incoming dangerous winds that could whip the blazes up further. Winds up 210 kilometers per hour mean a particularly dangerous situation will be declared from early Tuesday.
Now, 4 active fires in the Los Angeles region have burnt down over 40,000 acres of land, an area bigger than San Francisco. The flames have claimed over 12,000 structures, displacing tens of thousands of people already. The causes of all 4 blazes remain under investigation. About 35,000 homes and businesses in Los Angeles are without electricity, according to the power outage. The LA Department of Water and Power said that since the fire started on Tuesday, they have restored power to over 355,000 customers.
Firefighters are working hard to contain fresh wildfires. The Palisades fire has now consumed 23,700 acres and was just 11% contained. Containment of the 14,000-acre Eaton fire has improved, with 27% of its perimeter controlled. So far, 8 of the dead were found in the Palisades fire zone and 16 in the Eaton fire zone.
Among the many big celebrities whose homes have burnt down, the latest to join the list is Oscar-winning film stars Jeff Bridges and also Mel Gibson, Paris Hilton, Billy Crystal, Adam Brody and Milo Ventimiglia are other celebrities who have lost their homes as well. Now, across the US state of California, communities are joining together to tackle water shortages and protect each other's homes.
So this water is from where?
But definitely not having the fire hydrants still even turned on, and not being able to hose down yards and rooftops and things like that. But thank God we were able to get the pumps and the hoses and start pumping out swimming pools. And it was amazing. Every neighbor with a swimming pool was running up saying, use our water.
But there is raging criticism over the administration's management of water resources to fight the blaze. The Rory Callum Sykes, a former child star from Australia, brought the issue into sharp focus after the blaze ripped through his family's Malibu property. The boy, who was born with cerebral palsy, was staying in a cottage on the family's 17th-acre Mount Malibu TV studio estate. His mother said as she discovered that the water had been turned off when she tried to douse the flames.
In addition to human lives, many animals have perished in the Los Angeles wildfires, with various centers working round the clock to rescue displaced pets and animals in distress.
As of now, active duty U.S. military personnel stand ready to deploy to contain wildfires that have ripped through L.A.
So we're very grateful for the bipartisan support of the supplemental. FEMA got an additional $27 billion for our disaster relief fund. So we have the funding to support this response, to support this recovery, but also to continue to support the recoveries from Hurricanes Helene and Milton and the other 179 declarations that we had last year alone across the United States.
Meanwhile, fire officials said at least 13 people are estimated to be missing. The death toll is expected to mount when firefighters are able to conduct house-to-house searches.
U.S. President Joe Biden has stressed the immediate need for a ceasefire in Gaza and the return of the hostages.
The outgoing U.S. president spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, and his office said the Prime Minister informed Biden about how the talks were progressing during the call.
The two leaders spoke a day after Israel announced that it was sending a delegation of senior officials to Qatar for the negotiations. Before the announcement, Netanyahu met with U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's West Asia envoy Steve Witkoff, a representative of U.S. President Joe Biden, and other senior Israeli officials.
The delegation, which includes the heads of the Mossad and Shin Bet Internal Security Agency, has arrived in Doha. Indirect negotiations between Israel and Hamas resumed last weekend.
Israeli campaign group The Hostages and Missing Families Forum called the latest developments a historic opportunity to secure the release of all our loved ones.
Meanwhile, another group of relatives of hostages held in Gaza appealed to Trump to continue supporting Israel. The members of the Tikva Forum group share the belief that military pressure is the best way to bring their loved ones home.
The Israeli soldiers do not expect any soldiers of a friendly country to sacrifice himself for us. We demand one thing: let us work. Let freedom triumph over tyranny. Let good triumph over evil. Let life triumph over death. For your sake, for the future of the world, let Israel win total victory. Thank you.
Mr. Trump, the President of the United States, my son, Ori Mordechai, he was an officer in Golani. He is an American citizen like all my family. He got killed on October 7th. Don't push for a deal that's going to bring us back to October 6th. We have an expectation from you as the American president to support the Israeli government to achieve the two goals, to destroy the Hamas and to bring the all hostages one time, all of them. Thank you very much.
Israel continued with its offensive in Gaza. A video showed an Israeli airstrike hit a house in Gaza's Burej refugee camp on Sunday.
The health ministry in Hamas-run Gaza said on Sunday that 28 people were killed in the territory in the past 24 hours, taking the overall death toll to 46,565. Meanwhile, the IDF says it has struck several Hezbollah targets, including a rocket launcher at an unspecified military site and routes along the Syria-Lebanon border, which was used to smuggle weapons to Hezbollah.
Well, Israel claimed that before the strikes, it made the threats known to an international mechanism set up as a part of the ongoing ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah. But the threats were not addressed.
Amid heightened tensions with Israel and the United States, Iran is holding air defense exercises.
Iran state media said the war games were aimed at preparing defense systems for real battlefield conditions, protecting critical sites against air, missile and electronic threats. The exercises come as Iran anticipates fresh pressure from the US under the incoming administration of Donald J. Trump. Iran expects his maximum pressure policy, which could include empowering Israel to strike Iran's nuclear sites and also further crippling sanctions on Iran's oil industry.
On Friday, Iran released footage of what it calls a missile city, an underground facility housing missile production. IRGC declared that Iran's missile power is indeed growing. State media claimed that the footage shows only 10% of the facility and that features tunnels large enough for heavy equipment. Similar structures have been tied to Iranian activity in Syria, a region where Iran recently faced significant setbacks, including an alleged Israeli raid that destroyed a heavily fortified missile plant.
You should know that in addition to what can be seen in public, there are definitely other confidential systems working in hidden layers of these nuclear centers and all over the country, which we did not utilize in this exercise.
Iran's current war games also follow simulated defenses of nuclear installations against mock missiles and drone attacks. The military claims it's deploying new drones and missiles in these exercises. Well, all these developments signal that Iran's response to years of pressure, including the 2018 US withdrawal from the nuclear deal, and prepare the country for future conflicts with major powers in the region.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that Kiev is ready to hand over captured North Korean soldiers to Pyongyang if Kim Jong-un can organize an exchange of Ukrainians held captive in Russia.
Zelensky has said that the security service of Ukraine is continuously working with the captured North Korean soldiers. He further added that out of the two captured soldiers, one wishes to stay in Ukraine while the other wants to return to North Korea.
The security service of Ukraine continues to work with prisoners from North Korea. One of them expressed a desire to stay in Ukraine, while the other wants to return to North Korea.
Now, according to Ukraine and the West, over 10,000 North Korean troops have been deployed in the Kursk region to support Moscow. Russia, on the other hand, has neither confirmed nor denied the presence of North Korean troops. Russia has claimed that it has captured two villages, one in the East Donetsk region and another in the northeastern Kharkiv region. Ukraine said that 8 people were injured in the city of Kherson in a drone strike on Sunday. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's national security advisor has said that a meeting is being planned between the US President-elect Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin.
He further said that it is unrealistic to expel Russia from every inch of Ukrainian soil.
I just don't think it's realistic to say we're going to expel every Russian from every inch of Ukrainian soil.
Donald Trump's proposed mass deportations of undocumented immigrants could have profound economic consequences for the United States of America.
Now, as per the University of California, an extreme scale of the proposed deportations could cost the US economy up to $500 billion. Trump's plan involving the deportation of all undocumented immigrants could require billions in resources, and that would create a massive strain on infrastructure, requiring more staff, more facilities and resources to carry out these operations, leading to a significant financial burden for the federal government.
Economists warn that removing millions of workers from the US economy would likely lead to major disruptions across key industries. While immigrants make up a substantial portion of the labor force in the agriculture, construction and hospitality sectors, up to 25% of workers in agriculture alone. And if 8 million undocumented immigrants were deported, the US GDP could drop by 4%, while exports could fall by 4.7%. With fewer workers in essential industries, consumer prices would increase, inflation would rise, and companies would struggle to fill the labor shortages.
Now, this would create a cascading effect, resulting in higher costs for services and goods, while economic growth would slow considerably. Beyond the economic impact, the logistical challenges of mass deportations present another obstacle. Deporting an estimated 13 million undocumented migrants would require a massive expansion of detention facilities, increased law enforcement presence, and extensive legal proceedings. Current immigration enforcement is already overwhelmed with backlogged courts and limited resources.
Furthermore, deporting millions would affect families with US citizen children, leading to potential emotional and even social costs. This could further strain the US social safety net. Communities are forced to absorb the fallout from family separations and workforce disruptions, making mass deportations a costly and also a complex procedure.
Croatia's incumbent president, Zoran Milanovic, has won a second term. He defeated Dragan Primorac, a candidate from the ruling conservative HDZ party.
Right, and this took place in Sunday's runoff election. The election was held as the European Union and NATO member country of 3.8 million struggles with inflation, corruption scandals and a labour shortage.
Milanovic got 74% of the vote as against Primorac, who received nearly 26%. Now, at 58 years of age, Milanovic is the most popular politician in Croatia and is often compared to US President-elect Donald Trump for his combative style of communication with political opponents.
He had also won comfortably in the first round of voting on 29th of December as he secured 49% of the votes, falling short of securing the required 50% by just 5,000 votes. Primorac trailed far behind with 19% of votes.
Milanovic's triumph sets the stage for a continued confrontation with Croatia's Prime Minister Andrej Plenković. In fact, it already seems to have begun. Plenković congratulated Milanovic's rival Primorac for his election campaign.
He was being attacked from the far right and the far left. That obviously had an effect in the first round and in the runoff too. I thank him for his really engaging campaign and the support he received.
Though the presidency is largely ceremonial in Croatia, an elected president holds political authority and acts as the supreme military commander. The same was highlighted by Milanovic in his first public address after the announcement of the results.
In matters of defense and national security, as the Constitution says, I will be the supreme commander. So not just equal, but the top responsible person and the highest ranking. Because that's what the Constitution says.
Thousands of Serbians took to the streets in the capital Belgrade as part of the ongoing protest against corruption.
They are also demanding justice for those killed in a train station roof collapse. The demonstrations have been ongoing for 2 months since a roof in a train station in the northern city of Novi Sad collapsed on November 1st and killed 15 people. The train station had undergone restoration work recently. The opposition leaders and the public have taken to the streets repeatedly, blaming the accident on shoddy construction resulting from government corruption and nepotism.
Thousands of people converged on central Belgrade, blowing whistles and wearing badges featuring a bloody hand, which has become a protest movement's symbol.
We are here primarily to support the students and their demands, which are not only their demands, but I believe and hope the demands of the majority of people in this country. And because we were also students, and I think they now have the greatest energy to fight for all this and to preserve in it. Also, I would like one day not to have to leave this country.
The demonstrations in the country of 6.8 million people have been initiated by students who have blocked universities. The ruling coalition denies those charges, and the president, Alexander Vučić, has said that those responsible must be held to account. More than a dozen people have been charged in connection with the tragedy, including former Transport Minister Goran Vesic, who resigned days after the incident.
But protesters are demanding greater transparency in the investigations and into the restoration contracts at the train station, which were signed with Chinese, French and Hungarian companies.
First of all, we are here to apologize to the students because we are the older generation and we have led to this, and I hope that they will correct it. Once again, I apologize to the students and give them my full support.
Here's a look at all the climate stories making headlines today, and with that, it's now time to slip into a very short break, but stay with us. You are watching World DNA.
To bring the benefits of the Subhash Chandra Show to your educational institution, teachers and students, send an invitation to Juhi Jha at juhi@such.org.in.
The biggest gathering of humanity on the planet.
This is quite an interesting spot.
WION brings you exclusive coverage from the ground of the Mahakumbh Mela.
These bikes will be patrolling all around.
From security to infrastructure, from tent city to Sangam, we've got you covered.
This is Tribeni Sangam, where Ganga, Yamuna and the mythical Saraswati rivers meet.
Experience faith. Experience culture.
Tent as well.
Experience Mahakumbh. Only on WION. World is One.
Know more, understand better, think ahead. Hello and a very warm welcome. You are watching Gravitas with me, Molly Gambhir. Get the facts, not the bombast. On the 26th of March, dynamic pricing, Baloch separatists, Gravitas cuts out the clutter. Gravitas keeps calm when others scream. Gravitas brings news to life. Weekdays 9 p.m. IST, 3:30 p.m. GMT. Gravitas. Seeing is believing.
Ready to dive into your daily dose of news?
Bringing you what's trending in the West and all that's setting trends in the East.
And all of this served up with a side of insightful banter.
We don't just bring you the latest stories.
We bring you your talking points for the day.
And while you do that, from the busy streets of New York, I will provide you with deeper insights on the developments through the course of the day in the U.S.
And I will be here at the WION headquarters, getting you all the action from the universe of sport. All that you need to know about your favorite teams and players, right here.
The show that keeps you ahead of the global curve. A conversation you'd want to be a part of.
A place where news becomes an engaging exchange.
We bring you stories that impact your present.
This is World DNA.
Join the conversation.
WION, India's global voice. The channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION. World is One.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching World DNA with Rahesha and I'm Shivan. Let's start with the headlines we're tracking for you at this hour.
World's biggest religious gathering, Mahakumbh 2025, officially begins in India's Prayagraj. Devotees throng to the Triveni Sangam for the sacred bath. The Kumbh Mela set to witness 400 million people over the next 6 weeks.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he is ready to return captured North Korean soldiers to North Korea's Kim Jong-un in exchange for the return of Ukrainian prisoners of war from Russia.
Croatia's President Zoran Milanovic re-elected in a landslide, defeating his conservative rival in Sunday's runoff.
Death toll from massive wildfires that have ravaged Los Angeles rises to 24 as officials warn of incoming dangerous winds that could whip the blazes up further.
Barcelona humble rivals Real Madrid for the second time this season. The Catalan Giants come from behind to register a 5-2 victory and lift the Spanish Super Cup in Saudi Arabia.
The world's biggest religious gathering, the Mahakumbh 2025, has officially begun in India's Prayagraj.
Devotees throng to the Triveni Sangam on day one to participate in the sacred bath. More than 400 million people are expected over the course of next 6 weeks to take a holy dip at the confluence of three sacred rivers, that is the Ganga, the Yamuna and the Saraswati. It is believed that taking a holy dip during this time washes away sins and liberates one from the cycle of life and death.
This monumental event that has begun today will continue till the 26th of February. The sense of togetherness at the Mahakumbh Mela cultivates one of the most important aspects. Well, it unites people from all backgrounds, all castes and creeds. The city of Prayagraj in the state of Uttar Pradesh has undergone an extensive renovation and restoration drive to accommodate the needs of tens of thousands of devotees from around the world who will attend the Mahakumbh 2025.
For many devotees, attending the Mahakumbh Mela is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. The blend of faith, tradition and excitement makes this grand event an extraordinary and unforgettable experience. Let's now listen to some visitors who participated in the holy bath on day one of the Mahakumbh Mela.
It's been beautiful. It's so well organized. The streets are clean. The people are so friendly and happy. Thousands and thousands of pilgrimage people just enjoying the beauty of the Kumbh Mela.
I mean, we came to Kumbh Mela first time in life, and this is a big Kumbh Mela, so we're very excited. It's like, you know, you see the real India, and the true power of India is their people. And look around, it's thousands of people, and the vibe I cannot even transfer. I'm shaking because of the vibe of people, of holy place, of all the people who deep into holy Mama Ganga river. Thank you so much. I love India. Mera Bharat Mahan.
And for more on this, we are now being joined by WION special correspondent Johan Castle. He's joining us live from Prayagraj. Hi Johan, the Mahakumbh Mela has started. What is the mood like on the ground, the atmosphere? And if you can also just show us around as to how the on-ground situation looks like.
The energy is palpable here in Prayagraj. We've joined the hundreds of thousands of devotees who had made their way down to the Sangam early this morning. There are so many people, but it does not feel too packed or too crowded. I don't know if this is in anticipation of the Royal Shahi Snan, which will take place tomorrow, but also in how the security has been organized. It is quite effective in how the people are routed to get down here to the Sangam. But the energy is very high. What we're seeing is hundreds of thousands of devotees that are thronging the Sangam area. Lots of them have started walking down there at 3 o'clock in the morning to make their way down there for sunrise. And of course you might think that it might be really cold to go take a dip in a river outside in the middle of winter. It is close to the coldest point of the year, and it was supposed to be around 7 to 8 degrees this morning, but thankfully the weather changed. It is around 12 degrees, 13 degrees right now, and people don't seem to feel cold at all. I honestly find it very surprising. Now, me being Swedish, I am probably one of the most dressed up people here. I'm wearing more clothes than most others, it seems. I don't know what it is, why Indians don't feel cold. Perhaps it is the spiritual energy of the Mahakumbh that make people just forget about the cold temperatures. For me, it's a different story, but from the people I've spoken with, all I've heard is that you neither feel hot nor cold. You're so excited rushing in to take a dip in the Ganga, and especially at the Sangam where the three rivers meet. It is a special experience for those that have taken the time and effort to come down here.
WION, you should perhaps try to take a dip yourself. You'll get to know how they bear on that cold temperature and that cold water as well. But tell us about the preparations on the ground. We're expecting tens of thousands of people to come in. What do you see around you? How has it been prepared?
I mean, the preparations are on a scale that I've never seen before. This is so impressive. I mean, I think the most mind-blowing part about the entire Mahakumbh festival is that it's all temporary in Prayagraj. It takes place on these wide exposed riverbeds. So of course that can only be done after the monsoon rains have receded to expose these riverbanks. And imagine building a temporary tent city that will host hundreds of millions of people. It is mind-blowing. Every single thing that you can measure has been expanded. The size of the Mela area, I believe, is now 4,000 hectares. It is so huge you cannot see the end of it. Even if you stand in the middle on a vantage point where you have an overview, it's so vast that the tent city below you disappears into the mist, right? The number of bridges has been expanded. They have more bridges now. They had 8 ghats before. There are 12 ghats here this year. You know, the fire department, their budget has gone up by 744%. They have the latest and greatest, most modern equipment. They're super well equipped. They have 2,000 people on staff with the fire department. The security is next level. I've never seen anything like it. They have pulled in police officers from all across the state to come here and work. And I believe there are around 50,000 police officers on duty here for the event.
Right, WION, just to add to that, the Mahakumbh Mela has transformed the sandy banks of Prayagraj into a spectacular tent city. Talk to us about any other key highlight of the Mahakumbh Mela, and if you've spoken to anybody on the ground, how overwhelmed are they with the Mahakumbh Mela, which takes place once in every 12 years?
Sure, let's see if we can get somebody's input. Kumbh, कैसा लगता है?
बहुत अच्छा लगता है, बहुत अच्छा। यहाँ सबको आना चाहिए, सबको बहुत व्यवस्था है। हमारे योगी जी ने बहुत अच्छा, नरेंद्र मोदी ने बहुत अच्छा व्यवस्था किया है। भारत में ऐसा ही प्रधानमंत्री हमेशा बने रहना चाहिए। योगी जी की व्यवस्था देख के हम बहुत संतुष्ट हैं। सारे फोर्स भाई सबका हेल्प कर रहे हैं। इनको शाबाशी देना चाहिए। योगी जी जैसा हर राज्य में मुख्यमंत्री होना चाहिए और प्रधानमंत्री हमारे मोदी जी जैसा पूरे कंट्री वाले आए, और ये फोर्स भाई लोग अपने बाल बच्चा परिवार को छोड़ के यहाँ रात दिन सेवा दे रहे हैं। इनको सब माताएं आशीर्वाद दें कि इनके बच्चे
WION, definitely, I think everyone seems very, very excited. The smiles are giving it away, and I see a broad smile on your face too.
Excitement is palpable. It's on another level right now.
It definitely is. We are going to leave you there to, soak in all that palpable energy in Prayagraj, and we will come back to you for more. Of course, that's the Mahakumbh 2025. It started today. It's a special one happening once in 144 years. And Johan Castell is there reporting on ground.
Crypto CEOs fly to Mar-a-Lago to make large donations as Trump's inauguration day nears.
Many digital asset honchos are trying to gain favor with the new Trump administration already as it forms a crypto industry group. Now, the stablecoin company Circle sent $1 million worth of tokens to the inaugural committee of President-elect Donald Trump. Circle's CEO, Jeremy Allaire, said the committee accepting stablecoins for the inaugural fund is a good sign for the sector. The CEO said, "We are excited to be building a great American company, and the fact that the committee took payment in USDC is an indicator of how far we have come and the potential and power of digital dollars," quote unquote.
Fewer than 2 weeks remain until Trump's inauguration, and business leaders are already vying for meetings with the president and positions on his anticipated crypto advisory group. The industry insiders want a seat at the planned Crypto Advisory Council. The group is likely to include as many as 22 CEOs and founders. Nominees are still being considered by Trump and his close circle, which includes David Sachs. Sachs will be the next chief technology officer and crypto czar at the White House. Since Trump's victory in November, Mar-a-Lago has been hosting a constant flow of crypto honchos.
On the 17th of January, the crypto community will gather in Washington, D.C. to show their support for the new government. The inaugural Crypto Ball is a joint effort by David Bailey's BTC, the advocacy group, Stand with Crypto, which receives funding from Coinbase, Anchorage Digital, Exodus, the creator of the Bitcoin wallet, and Kraken.
Tickets for the event cost $2,500. Crypto wallet, MetaMask Asset Management, Galaxy and cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase are among the other sponsors.
Strong US job growth shakes up Fed expectations, pushing rate cuts further into 2025.
With US inflation data on deck, all eyes are on whether the economy keeps its momentum or stirs fresh concerns. Globally, key data from China, the UK and Australia will set the tone for commodities, currencies and investor sentiment this week. Our next report telling you more.
Robust U.S. jobs report signals stronger than expected labor market resilience, pushing expectations for Federal Reserve rate cuts further into 2025. The December data, with 256,000 jobs added and the unemployment rate dropping to 4.1%, underscores ongoing economic strength. However, this momentum elevates inflation risks, keeping markets on edge as key U.S. inflation and retail sales data approach. A projected 0.2% inflation increase in December can calm concerns if confirmed, but any surprise uptick may lead to renewed equity sell-offs and further bolster the U.S. dollar. Globally, China's upcoming GDP, retail sales and industrial production figures will be pivotal for gauging the effectiveness of recent stimulus measures. Improved metrics could strengthen sentiment in commodity-linked currencies like the Australian dollar. Meanwhile, Australia's labor market data will provide additional insights into the region's economic health. In the UK, inflation and retail sales releases come at a critical juncture, especially after recent declines in the pound and bond yields. Softer data could deepen concerns over economic stagnation, adding pressure to sterling. U.S. equities, especially the S&P 500, remain under scrutiny after Friday's sell-off and a potential break below the 100-day moving average. Resistance levels at 6,000 will be a key to watch for any recovery attempts. Overall, markets are poised for heightened volatility with the interplay of inflation, labor data, and global economic updates steering sentiment. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
The CIA can read our WhatsApp messages. That's what Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg has said.
And this is while he added that it does so by physically accessing user devices. Speaking on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, Zuckerberg addressed questions about how government agencies can bypass encryption to access private communications. Zuckerberg explained that while WhatsApp's encryption ensures Meta's own servers cannot see the content of the messages, this protection does not extend to data stored on a user's device. He says authorities can exploit vulnerabilities in the device themselves, bypassing encryption entirely.
Journalist Tucker Carlson had made the allegations that U.S. intelligence agencies, including the National Security Agency and CIA, had interfered with his attempts to interview Russian President Vladimir Putin by accessing his private messages. Carlson claimed these agencies leaked his plans, disrupting the interview process with the Russian leader.
Zuckerberg said tools like spyware, including the controversial Pegasus software, are enabling agencies to directly access data stored on devices. He said the tools allow surveillance, including reading encrypted messages, viewing photos, and accessing call logs without needing to intercept communications in transit. Zuckerberg claimed that to address these risks, WhatsApp is introducing measures like disappearing messages to enhance user privacy. And this feature automatically deletes messages after a set amount of time, reducing the amount of sensitive data stored on devices. While encryption protects communications during transmission, governments argue that it can hinder efforts to combat crime and terrorism. A 2021 FBI document said agencies can gain limited access to encrypted communications on platforms like WhatsApp and iMessage through methods such as cloud backups or device access.
On to the world of sports now. Holders Manchester United knock Arsenal out of the FA Cup in an action-packed match at the Emirates Stadium.
Goalkeeper Altre Bender was the hero as the Red Devils survived nearly an hour with 10 men to clinch the match 5-4 in a penalty shootout. Now, United travelled to London on the back of a credible draw against Liverpool at Anfield in the English Premier League. The first half was low-key, but the match sprung to life in the second half. Red Devils took the lead 7 minutes after the restart when Alejandro Garnacho took advantage of a Gabriel slip and crossed for skipper Bruno Fernandes to fire home. Things turned sour for United on the hour mark when Diogo Dalot was shown a second yellow card for a late lunge on Mikel Merino.
It proved costly for the visitors as Arsenal scored from the resulting free kick. Defender Gabriel equalized after his shot took a deflection and went into the net. The Gunners had a massive chance to take the lead when Kai Havertz was adjudged to have been brought down in the box. Referee Andrew Madley awarded a penalty and Arsenal skipper Martin Odegaard stepped up to take it. But Binder dived to his left and made a brilliant save to keep the scores level. Havertz had a brilliant chance to win the match from 3 yards out in the 88th minute, but the Arsenal forward failed to find the back of the net. United defended well in the extra time and the match went to a penalty shootout. Havertz had a poor game and had his spot kick saved by Binder in the shootout. Joshua Zirkzee converted his penalty as United scored all of the spot kicks to win the clash. United will now take on Leicester City in the fourth round.
Ultimate challenges on the road, and Manchester United have passed the tests at Anfield.
We managed to score, and then I felt that in that moment we will
were able to improve with the ball, but with the sent-off was really hard on us. And then we suffered all together, defending very well with some opportunities from Arsenal. The players were really tired, but I felt since the first minute that today was our day. And I felt also a connection with our fans, our staff. It was a very good day for us in that aspect.
Incredible how you don't win a game. That's basically to sum up the dominance, the superiority in relation to your position, and everything that we did to try to win the game. And that's it. That we didn't deserve. We didn't get what we deserved, clearly. But there is an element that is about putting the ball in the back of the net. They did it once, and with the amount of situations, chances, penalties that we had, we didn't. And we go home extremely sad.
In Los Angeles, the city's vast entertainment industry is already counting the cost of yet another drastic setback.
Actors, crew, writers and producers, they've lost their homes, and film and television productions have been temporarily halted, and calls are mounting for Hollywood's award season to be cancelled this year. Now, the sets of popular television series such as Grey's Anatomy, NCIS, Hacks and Fallout have been destroyed by the fire. Parts of the city where major sound stages are located have also been threatened by the fires. However, the iconic Hollywood sign remains intact.
A new Netflix series starring Meghan Markle has been delayed due to the devastating LA wildfires. With Love, Meghan, which is an 8-episode lifestyle and cooking show, had been due to debut on the streaming platform on Wednesday. But with blazes that have killed at least 16 people and thousands of homes destroyed, it has been pushed back to March.
Rapper and actor Common was one of the stars who volunteered at the Filtridge Retreat Center. In a message on social media, he encouraged those in need to come to the center for food, clothing and water supplies. He also urged Los Angeles residents who were not hit by devastating wildfires to help their fellow citizens. Two-time Oscar-winning actor Michael Douglas took to social media and said that he has asked the board of a charitable organization founded by his father to make a donation. In his video, he further said, and I quote, "This is not a question of blue states or red states, Republicans or Democrats. This is humanitarian. And this is really, really a major crisis."
Poet Amanda Gorman has written a new work in tribute to her home city of Los Angeles, which is still being hit by devastating wildfires. The proud Angelino called the fires heartbreaking and launched the poem as a fundraiser for the California Fire Foundation, which is offering support and aid to firefighters, the families, as well as those who have been impacted by the fires. And with that, we call it a wrap. Thanks very much for staying with us. You are watching WION World is One. Do stay tuned.
Know more, understand better, think ahead. Hello and a very warm welcome. You are watching Gravitas with me, Molly Gambhir. Get the facts, not the bombast. On the 26th of March, dynamic pricing, Baloch separatists, Gravitas cuts out the clutter. Gravitas keeps calm when others scream. Gravitas brings news to life. Weekdays 9 p.m. IST, 3:30 p.m. GMT. Gravitas. Seeing is believing.
The biggest gathering of humanity on the planet.
This is quite an interesting spot.
WION brings you exclusive coverage from the ground of the Mahakumbh Mela.
These bikes will be patrolling all around.
From security to infrastructure, from tent city to Sangam, we've got you covered.
This is Tribeni Sangam, where Ganga, Yamuna and the mythical Saraswati rivers meet.
Experience faith. Experience culture.
Tent as well.
Experience Mahakumbh. Only on WION. World is one.
To bring the benefits of the Subhash Chandra Show to your educational institution, teachers and students, send an invitation to Juhi Jha at juhi@such.org.in.
The Earth is sending distress signals. Wildfires, droughts, and melting glaciers. Can we reverse the damage? Explore the harrowing effects of climate change. It's a wake-up call. Global emergency. Climate Tracker on WION World is One.
Ready to dive into your daily dose of news?
Bringing you what's trending in the West and all that's setting trends in the East.
And all of this served up with a side of insightful banter.
We don't just bring you the latest stories.
We bring you your talking points for the day.
And while you do that, from the busy streets of New York, I will provide you with deeper insights on the developments through the course of the day in the US.
And I will be here at the WION headquarters, getting you all the action from the universe of sport. All that you need to know about your favorite teams and players, right here.
The show that keeps you ahead of the global curve. A conversation you'd want to be a part of.
A place where news becomes an engaging exchange.
We bring you stories that impact your present.
This is World DNA.
Join the conversation.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening. As we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
The biggest gathering of humanity on the planet.
This is quite an interesting spot.
WION brings you exclusive coverage from the ground of the Mahakumbh Mela.
These bikes will be patrolling all around.
From security to infrastructure, from tent city to Sangam, we've got you covered.
This is Tribeni Sangam, where Ganga, Yamuna and the mythical Saraswati rivers meet.
Experience faith. Experience culture.
Tent as well.
Experience Mahakumbh. Only on WION. World is one.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching WION World is One. I'm Shivan Channa. Let's start with the headlines. Israeli military claims to strike series of Hezbollah sites in Lebanon, accuses truce mechanism of failing to address threats. US President Joe Biden speaks with relatives of 3 Americans held in Afghanistan, but family members say no agreement has been reached on a deal to get them back. Death toll from massive wildfires that have ravaged Los Angeles rises to 24 as officials warn of incoming dangerous winds that could whip the blazes up further. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate Z-Mode Tunnel in Jammu and Kashmir, ensuring all weather access between Sonmarg and Ladakh. Thousands of devotees take the holy dip at the Triveni Sangam as world's biggest religious gathering. Mahakumbh 2025 officially begins in India's Prayagraj. Barcelona humble rivals Real Madrid for the second time this season. The Catalan Giants come from behind to register a 5-2 victory and lift the Spanish Super Cup in Saudi Arabia. US President Joe Biden has stressed the immediate need